While this week's Amphibia episodes were probably the second most laid-back set of episodes next to Thai Feud and Adventures in Cat Sitting, being more focused on character development and comedy rather than plot progression, I still wanted to talk about them because I now found my new favorite side character from Earth. Mr. X is absolutely amazing. He was already an incredibly anticipated character since his minor appearances in the theme song and the season 3 trailer, and being known to have RuPaul as his voice actor, but man, did he crush this role. Like in the past, I'm going to be breaking down these two episodes to highlight details y'all might have missed in your first watch through. Let's do this. The first episode, Mr. X, opens with Mr. X and his co-worker slash assistant, Jenny, doing work inside the fake ice cream truck. More or less picking up where anne-sterminator left off, with the regular FBI agents saying they need to let Mr. X know about the planners. He explains to Jenny the reason he's called Mr. X is because he's the one who deals with extraterrestrials. It was very cute seeing how Jenny blushed after Mr. X gave him a compliment. Too bad he didn't talk for the entirety of the episode. I hope that changes in the future. I want to hear what he sounds like. As he rants about Anne about to be in trouble for harboring the quote-unquote aliens, a kid tries to get a popsicle from the ice cream truck. Unfortunately for him, Mr. was eating the last one. Fearing people are going to get abducted by the planners or worse, he wants to catch them as soon as possible. But not before getting some real food because popsicles aren't going to cut it anymore. So Jenny looks up some local restaurants on Google and what do you know, he chooses Tygo for their pit stop. Looks like they're rated 5 stars too, that's kind of hype. Back at Tygo, Sprig and Polly are helping make some orders, perhaps the Uber without an E order ticket. Meanwhile, the Boonchoy parents are still amped up after defeating Cloakbot. This is what Hot Pop calls post-battle euphoria. The development with Anne's parents has been handled so well, by the way. The events from anne-sterminator combined with the dialogue from this one and the events from this one solidified them as members of the anti-invasion squad, if you will. And now with Cloakbot gone, Anne wants to take it easy by showing the planners their first movie in theaters. This new trend of Mr. Boonchoy getting rolled is funny, but it also makes me feel kind of bad for him at the same time. He's just trying his best. As Anne bikes to the theater, she goes past several promotional posters. Suspicion Island 2. Didn't realize the TV series had a first movie to begin with. Boss Dog, which I'm guessing is a Boss Baby parody. Fumigator 5's got a promotional piece too, and that's kind of weird because Fumigator 4 had a commercial in anne-sterminator, so maybe it was just a rerun. Trains with Faces looks like if Thomas the Tank Engine was a serial killer, and the bunny on the far left to me looks like this world's version of Bugs Bunny, especially with the rings around him. When the gang walks into the theater, there's even more artwork on the walls. On the upper right, there's the characters from the movie Lovechoice, you know, Constance, Hunter, and Alistair. This movie was the reason the episode Civil War happened, if you don't remember. The way Mr. X pulls up to Tygo has to be one of the coldest entrances I've seen in Amphibia. Slams the door open, rolls up to the counter in Heelys, and starts speaking borderline fluent Thai to Mrs. Boonchoy. Like, how do you top that? He orders Pad See which is a common stir-fried noodle dish in Thailand, while showing Mrs. Boonchoy a photo of the planners and asking if she's seen these strange creatures. This is the development I'm talking about. She was the one who initially suggested handing the planners over to the government in New Normal, and now a government agent is interrogating her about the planners, and she's trying to cover for them. It's amazing. Before Mr. X finishes the interrogation, Jenny's computer shows it's located Anne, so they run off together, stun guns blazing. The Boonchoys spring into action after Mr. X in hopes they can stop him from finding Anne. Unfortunately, their warning call wasn't able to get through since Anne was already inside the theater. That damn Cheerleader Musical 7 trailer was too loud. It's like High School Musical, but only cheerleaders. Having difficulty catching up to Mr.'s car, Mrs. Boonchoy forcibly takes the wheel from her husband and drives in the breakdown lane to get ahead of him. Their efforts were futile since the ice cream truck is literally the Gadgetmobile with a different exterior design. Anne sees the messages from her mom as she gets out of the theater, but it's too little too late. Mr. X has arrived in style. Inbel Breda and Cassie Swart were having a blast storyboarding this character. I just know it. Like, what do they do? What is he doing? So the planners try to hide in the Fumigator 5 theater. I love how the promotional message was a way to make fun of franchises getting milked for sequels as easy money. It's shots fired, dude. He instantly finds them in the theater, asking them if the planners are from the area or just visiting. They're able to shake him briefly, but Jenny is blocking the main entrance, using some kind of scanning ray gun to check if someone is human or not. Anne's able to get into contact with her parents finally, trying to come up with a plan, still wanting her parents to take a side seat so they don't get in trouble. And they don't make the best case for themselves as her dad doesn't even know how to put his phone on speaker, accidentally calling his mother and or Anne's grandma. Considering she was annoyed about the time of day she was being called, I bet she still lives in Thailand where it's 14 hours ahead of West Coast United States. The Boonchoys notice Jenny at the door wondering how to get them out of such a cornered situation, but Mr. Boonchoy hatches an idea involving the pet store. Meanwhile, Anne can't even finish her plan out loud because Mr. X found them again. And he's zap happy. Someone's gotta make a video counting how many times Matt has referenced Sonic and Amphibia. It's gotta be the most referenced franchise at this point. Fast Rat? Like, come on, dude. The gang takes refuge in the storage closet and tries to disorient Mr. X so they can lose him again. But before they escape, Mr. X is able to grab onto Hop Pop's leg, seeing what he truly looks like. Maybe I'm reaching here, but I feel like Anne preventing Polly and Hop Pop from further hurting Mr. X is subtle foreshadowing of Anne trusting him in the future. He's not even a bad guy per se, he's just misunderstood. I respect him not wanting the general public to be in danger, but he needs to know the planners aren't the true enemy. Andres and the Knight are. With all the technology he has access to, he'd be a great ally, and I hope he does become one. Mr. X calls Jenny to let him know about Hop Pop's appearance and to have backup on standby. Now hiding in the bathroom, Anne continues to refute the idea of her parents helping. Got it. Every time I see that stupid S symbol, I feel like I'm in 5th grade again, dude. The Boonchoys see several FBI vehicles and a helicopter pull up to the theater. Mrs. Boonchoy was able to tell they were in the bathroom, so they spring into action. The agents are about to open the bathroom stall, but suddenly the power goes out, and all Mr. X sees are pet frogs on the toilet. I had a feeling the episode was going to end like this before it started, i.e. Mr. X being made out to look crazy, but I'm glad he's not throwing in the towel on finding the planners, because that leaves more possibility for another episode focused on him, and hopefully becoming an ally by the end. Seeing what the Boonchoys went through to get Anne out was awesome. Mrs. Boonchoy doing a magic show with Domino in the middle of the road to Mr. Boonchoy buying the frogs at the pet store and turning off the power to the building. This more than solidifies they're capable enough to be involved in anything that comes to threaten them now. And it's explained by the end of the episode that the only reason they knew which bathroom Anne was in is because of the tracking device they put on Hop Pop when he was sleeping. I respect him for not being annoyed at that fact. Sprig's birthday was definitely the most lighthearted of the set this week. The episode opens with Anne reading Dante's Inferno, saying it'll help the planners get home. This is a real life book, by the way. Only it's about taking the reader through the darkest pits of hell, so yeah. Since it didn't help the research, Anne and Sprig decided to take a break by playing finger football. Hop Pop and Polly then walk in and give Sprig his mud crown for his birthday. Anne is super wigged out by the fact that she didn't know it was his birthday though, even though Sprig never mentioned it. But seeing what frogs from Amphibia usually do on their birthdays doesn't feel like it's good enough for Sprig to enjoy himself, according to Anne anyway, since all he did was look out the window and reflect on his life. When he finishes, I noticed a poster on Anne's wall that looked borderline identical to the first planet in Good Egg Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy, down to the houses in the middle with the warp pipe on top. Now if you can reference Sonic this much, why not throw in a Mario one every now and then, right? Anne then vows to give Sprig the best birthday he's ever had, while Mr. Boonchoy gets rolled yet again. Anne takes Sprig to several different places. The mall, the Santa Monica Pier to ride a roller coaster, a Mexican restaurant where lighting an area on fire is apparently normal, and even an observatory, which is where Anne gets his present from. When Sprig and Anne are on their way back home, the guy who wishes Sprig a happy birthday last is a goober driver. Based on how the G looks, that's, I'm assuming, meant to be Grubhub. It's kind of funny how they referenced 2 different driving apps in both episodes this week. Sprig is happy to tell Anne this birthday is definitely in his top 3, but Anne wants it to be number 1. So she uses a last-ditch effort to take Sprig on a hot air balloon ride. Shout out to Mr. Boonchoy for being the ride there, just chilling reading some purple Garfield manga. And this isn't the first time that cat's made a cameo. Sprig rushes to the balloons all excited, but one shaped like a clown wigs him out. But the worker lets him know it only looks scary because it was repurposed for a horror movie promotional piece. I bet it was for this world's version of Pennywise or the movie It. It looks a lot like Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise, just with purple hair. Sadly, they're not able to ride the balloon due to high winds, but that doesn't stop Anne from wanting Sprig to experience some kind of thrill. So they go in the balloon with the faith that nothing will happen since it's still tied down. Of course, the wind knocks them away though. Now they're on a wild ride through the main city, dodging obstacles as best they can. Not without ruining other people's days, of course. Like this man, who was almost cured of his direct eye contact fear. You gotta love him being cross-eyed as he runs away in fear. This poor guy, dude. Then ruining a guy proposing to his significant other. That's not the first time this couple got their day ruined by Anne either. You know, she broke their flat screen TV in Thai Feud. What's gonna be next? At least we can say they pushed this woman to pursue her dreams to be a stand-up comedian. After surviving the balloon popping and a series of collisions, they land in a garbage can. Oh look, Holy Foods. I wish I had a Whole Foods near my house. They got good stuff over there, they really do. Anne is sad about not being able to deliver the perfect birthday, but Sprig reassures her the reason the birthday was even in the top 3 in the first place was because they spent it together. Meaning they could have just watched movies all day and he would have enjoyed it just as much. What a guy, what a guy. He also lets Anne know the top 2 birthdays were the day he was born and the day his parents gave him his signature hat. I feel like him saying his memory on the matter being fuzzy might come into play in the future, especially if Andres' pink frog friend is involved somehow. The episode ends with Anne giving Sprig a new telescope with his name engraved on it. If they have him using that telescope in the theme song for future episodes, that would be awesome. Please do it, Amphibia crew, please. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything I might have missed out on in this episode. It didn't feel like there was that many hidden details this week because of how laid back these episodes were, but it's definitely possible I might have missed some stuff. I'm still happy though. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. It helps out a ton. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.